Part two, I put in cups, and they had this was my old one. These are enclosed bearings, but they still had bearings, but they had cups on them. These are the second to the easiest kind to install. I did not put my sleeves in. I'm going to try it without the sleeves, and then I'll put the sleeves in. These are the better sleeves, where you get the metal instead of the plastic. That's what you want. I'll probably slip it in though. Let's see. So let's slip that in. But what I did first is I put the little cappy thing on and put that on, stacked it all up. It's just pulling it tight to try and get the cap, both of them to sit or seat. There's both there. But I just like to try and seat them with, tighten it with the Allen first before I really try and seat them. I popped the old ones out with Mr. Persuasive, H2O. More light? Okay. Not so light. Okay, but there's a lot of light. Okay. Too much light? Probably. But anyway, back to this. This is your headset. Pretty much pulled it as tight as I could. Now I'm loosening it. And then I'm going to put the spacer in. This is a blue one instead of the VP. The VPs are nice. And that was a heck of a lot better than the crap they sent me with the forks. Oh man, that piece of crap. I know why they give them away for free. That's why. Okay. I'll do is pop that off again. And then pop the. Try not to scratch it up too bad. And they are $100 freaking forks or something like that. Or what I paid. I think I found those bucks. It's so long that I could not tell you. Come on, baby. But my buddy Cody builds the pipes. He was putting a headset on, so he told me to make this video on headsets. He said he couldn't find any other headsets on YouTube, so here I am doing headsets. Because somebody asked me, What's up with my gray bike around the shark teeth? Why is that not running? This one? Oh, this is my Beach Marauder. And right now, I only have one Cody pipe. And I'm hoping to get 3 or 4 more. I've got 1, 2, 3, 5 bikes, something like that. All monsters except for one. Somebody sent me a steel sleeve, and I can go over that if you want to know anything about steel sleeved China dolls. Will I did a China doll was a steel sleeved, and what I like about steel sleeved is that once you wear the cylinder out, you just go with a bigger piston. You start with the 47, and you're going to go 48, 49. The cylinder can last. The steel sleeve is at least a 1/4 inch thick, so you could theoretically use that cylinder forever, because with a steel sleeve, when you score it, you just bore it out to a bigger size. And I think most people would like a China doll better bored out to 52 millimeters. 52 millimeters means if it climb a hill. What is a steel sleeve? Okay. Steel sleeve? This is this. Here's my gas tank, just for the heck of it. But a steel sleeve is a cylinder that you hone out. You take a China doll and you hone it out, and the boat guys have steel sleeves. And you design it and you slip it in there, and hopefully you hone it out so good that it'll hold. If you hone it out too big, you got to use a pin. But this is a steel sleeve, 47 millimeter. I got from Ryan. He also makes the clutches, the clutch pressure plates. He also sleeves the China dolls. And I think if you take a sleeve China doll and you bore it out to 52 millimeter, you'd like it a lot better. Especially if you're a heavier guy and want to go fast. And spill gas all over the garage. That's good. That's important. But that's a steel sleeve. Any other questions on the steel sleeve, Will? Two-stroke boat guys steel sleeve their boats. Most boat motors are sleeved with a steel lining. What's the advantage? You can lower out to a bigger size when you mess up or scorch the cylinder. Okay, cut that off. And the magic ring tool them all. It's going to go right there. And push up the wheel. I like to use blocks to hold up the wheel while I'm doing this. And flip the bike over. Love that. Fun about that. Oh, geez. If I could have one fun thing to do while working on my bike, that's what I would say. I want to do that. Okay. Push this down. Make sure this thing is right. Just tap it that time. It's got cork on it. It's your basic ruler. Lift up with your foot. Whatever you want to use. I would have killed for tappa, tappa, tappa. I would have killed for tappa, tappa, tappa. Check how much play you got. That's going to tighten right up. And put your deco ring back on. And drop it. Again. This is my squishy cutter, unpatented, right here. Unpatented. Like, who else would think of cutting the top of the piston off and using it to cut deeper into your cylinders? Now this time, my phone's going crazy. Somebody's blowing up my phone. No. 4 millimeters, not 3 millimeters. The old threaded 4. 4 is really close to quarter. Practically the same. 7/16 is the same as 11 millimeters. But quarter is smaller than 6, than 4. Blah, blah, blah. Standard conversion. In my pile of junk. See? Got all the good stuff here. Except for the Allen I need. Let you guys see what I'm doing here. Just tightening the Allen. Pull the headset together. Wow, somebody's got a flashlight out there. Oh, car. Get your car. What I'm doing is I'm trying to pull it down until both things are cupped, seated. Both cups are seated. The little thing in the headset's called a cup. What you'll notice when I get this all tightened, it won't have that that you see people do with gas tank frames that don't set the front forks right. It's like a lot of fun too. And I can't find my T drive like that. It's a lot easier to set with a T. Yeah. The dreaded 5 millimeter, which is a tiny bit bigger, a tiny bit smaller than a quarter. Sure. Tiny bit bigger, something like that. Any questions? And what made you get into it? Probably open space. How long have I been working on the engines? I have been building gas tank saw cylinders and chainsaw cylinders going on 9, 10 months, 11 months, about a year. I've been doing chainsaws, and that was the steel sleeve. Has been the first China doll I've done in about a year. Somebody told me I couldn't build one of these and bet me that I couldn't build it, and then I started turning them out in all different ways, because once you figure out one, then you can do practically any of them. Oh, another day. This one just for kicks. Somebody gave me a case. The cylinder didn't look too bad, so I threw on a shark head. Really worked over the clutch some. The clutch was not so smooth, so I redid the clutch. But yeah, I built this. Got to throw it on something. Just for fun, just for kicks. What made me get into engines? There's a hill outside my house, and I love to bicycle ride. And I turned like 48 years old, and I couldn't ride my bike up the hill anymore. It's still pretty hard to get up the hill, so I'd have to get off my bike and push it up by hand. And that's what made me install a motor on a bicycle. Is I moved on top of a hill, and I'd have to walk up it. In my whole life, I've been able to ride a bike 15 miles when I want to. I just get a bike and ride, get away from it all, But that's what got me into motors was I couldn't ride up the hill anymore. It was straight up where I'd have to get off the bike and push it. And what's the point of a bicycle? You got to push it. You know? Either you should be healthy enough to ride it completely, or just do them different and install a motor. And then when the motor won't push you up good enough, install a bigger motor. Do police mess with me? Good question. My version on what to deal with police officers is always check with the DMV, find out the laws in your neighborhood. My laws in Colorado are under 49C, pedal assist, 600 watts, is doesn't need a driver's license or need a permit to ride in street, but you do not have to register anything under 49 cc's. And I will swear on a pack of Holy Roller papers, I swear to Holy Roller paper that my engine's only 49 cc's with a 52 millimeter piston and a 40 millimeter stroke, actually 39.5, but you know, I calculated it exactly 49 cc's. I calculate every cylinder at 49 cc's. This one right here, 56 millimeter, up to a 50 millimeter stroke, 49 cc's. How would I explain that to a police officer? I'd first say, do you like my bike and would you like to get in the hobby? And I'd like to teach you how to build one. But do they mess with me? Usually they wave at me, and usually they tell me not to go fast. But I've only been pulled over once, but they usually give me looks. I live in a neighborhood that is very patrolled. I see a cop in my neighborhood every 20 minutes, round the clock. It is the most patrolled neighborhood I've ever lived in my entire life. It's Littleton, Colorado, right next to a giant metropolis. There's little tiny Inglewood, and then there's little tiny Littleton and Denver. But usually when they pull me over, they just want to look at my bike. The cops are all riding regular bikes, and they're trying to get electric bikes, but they look at my bike and they want to patrol the bike paths with it. I know it. The thing they don't like is the noise. If I put a silencer on it, though, probably be able to sell it to them. You know, it's better to get them to join than to get them in court. But no, I don't really get messed with, you know, because I don't know. I spend most of my time building. I don't really spend that much time riding. I go to the grocery store, go to the skate park, I go to Walmart. I go within 10 miles of my house. How does the permanent work? How much is it? Oh, a permit. Oh, a permit. I mean, when you're 15 years old in America, you can get what's called a permit or a learner's driver's license. And in Colorado, all you need is a learner's permit to ride a motorized bicycle. I should have classified that. Like, you can get a permit 15 years old, and you can use the permit to ride a motorized bicycle. Like, if you're like 15 and a half. But no, they never mess with me. They usually wave. If I'm going fast, they give me the mostly though, they don't mess with me. I mean, knock on wood or whatever. But I would swear to it on a pack of Holy Roller papers that this is 49 cc's. Doing 50 miles an hour. Uphill. And being able to hear them from half a mile away. 49 cc's. A permit in Colorado is 49, is for any kid 15 and a half with the parents okay to be able to a learner's permit to drive a car. You don't need a motorcycle license. Motorcycle license is for 49 Cs and above. It's 50 cc's and above. So if I said this was 50 cc's, you'd need a motorcycle license. Which, you know, it's pretty much if you built the engine, you know, you'd probably be the expert and know how many cc's it is. But mostly, I would say it's a power assist or a pedal assisted 49C bike under 600 watts. Because in Colorado, it's under 600 watts for an electric bike, and motorized gas bikes, it's under 49 cc's. So I just say 49 cc. They're all 49 cc. All of them. Yeah. Right? Life goes on. That's how you change a headset, though. Let's see, 20 minutes on this one, and 20 minutes on the other one. Make sure I got it lined up. I hit it when I didn't line it up straight. Kind of crooked down the road. It's pretty good, though. How many bikes do I have running? Well, I only have one muffler. So the others, I have chainsaw mufflers on them. I've got a TS400 over here. I can show you. Nice headset, by the way. The headset came out really good. A lot tighter, a lot nicer. Definitely recommend that. There we go. What do you have going on there, Brad? I have chainsaw mufflers going on everywhere. This is a TS400, 49 millimeter, ramjetted. Things I like about ramjet, things I dislike about ramjet. Ramjet in the front, max power, great. Problematic is if a cylinder is lower than a carburetor, you're always going to have run back. See that run back? Fuel's going to run back. This whole area is going to be full of fuel. You're going to be like, I adjusted the god dang float 20 freaking times. I've seen the level of the flow. I don't understand. What it is your 1.1/16 hose is full of fuel. And your cylinder's dumping it back. And when you roll it, you're pumping it up and down. It's going to dump back and dump on it. That's the thing I don't like about it. What I do like about it, though, you can put big ass chainsaw mufflers on them. Stick any kind of pipe you want. Just plug the holes. Stick any pipe you want on it. But I can't go back to that because Cody spoiled me. I mean, one big freaking pipe, and I'll never go back to a muffler like that. Took a 40-mile-an-hour bike up to 50. With that, do you want me to explain the 400 though? Boost bottle? Okay, let's talk about boost bottles. You know what a boost bottle is good for? Turn it into a bong. That's about the only useful thing you can do with a boost bottle. Put you a bowl on it. So what a boost bottle is doing is giving a fake sincerity of having an extra chamber in your intake. And does it help? No. Does it sound cool? Yes. If you believe it's boosting, does it boost? Your reality is what you believe. What it helps hide is if you're a bad tuner, it helps idle. If you have an idle problem, I guess what'd be better though is to understand why you have a bad idle. Why does this have to be screwed in all the way, or why is it all the way out? This will tell you right here. Am I rich? Am I lean? Where's the position of the idle screw? If this idle screw is way out, I'm one thing. If it's all the way in, I'm another thing. But I can tell you on a monster, you are lean. lean, freaking throwing 127, 120, 118, 115 freaking main jets in there. Because you are so dang rich. Why are you rich? Because you're using a giant freaking carburetor that's going to suck 3 times as much air through it as your standard carburetor. Like, let me show you. You're never going to be lean with that. Look how small that hole is. I can't even get my pinky in that hole, right? Barely could get my pinky in that hole. That's how much air can flow through that. That's the maximum amount of air that can go through there. That much. That's all the air that can throw through that. Big finger. Thumb. All the way through. Thumb. See that? Lean. Rich. Lean, rich, lean, rich. A boost bottle. Okay, what you want to do with an engine first is know where the piston is in the cylinder, where it's traveling. Is it sealing up the intake? Is it sealing up the exhaust port? Is it opening up the exhaust port fully? Is it opening up the intake fully? These are important questions. If your intake isn't opening up, you're losing a ton of power. If your exhaust isn't opening up completely, you're polluting your whole cylinder with exhaust, and you're burning. I could always tell that when you pop it open in there, like, I don't understand why it's all black and carbon. And then you look at their piston height and cylinder, or how it's flowing in the engine, and you could tell. Okay. Here's Ken's engine. Okay. You'd be pissed if I was showing you this, right? I'm going to show you anyway. I'll tell you how to look at any engine. Drop that bit, or drop the cylinder all the way to 0. Stick your finger in. See how clean the sweep is. The sweep is when you are level with that. The sweep drop is how far does it drop when it's a dead center. See that? That has a sweep drop of, I would say, 1/8 of an inch. You bring it all the way up. Okay. That's sealed all the way up, all the way down, and it's going to open. There, that's the first side of opening right there. That's when it's going to start spewing the exhaust out. It's more exhaust, more exhaust. Okay, right there, we're starting the intake opening. The intake opening, and we're starting to pump the cylinder up and push out the exhaust, even with the help of that. And then here, bam, our intakes are completely open right now. And it's going up. Okay, let's watch this side. This is the more important side right here. That is bottom right there. What you want to do with bottom, blow through it. That'll tell you how much crosstalk you are going to have with any engine. Put the piston down at the bottom. See how much air you're going to blow through here. Watch. He's got a pretty damn good seal, but air still coming out of here and here. There's still room for improvement for this engine. Okay, but let me show you the top. I don't want to get too involved because I love talking about crosstalk repair. Crosstalk repair is that I can blow in here and air comes out the spark plug hole. Okay. Have you heard of this little NOS that look like CO2 tanks? Seen them on motors that have a mini pocket bike. Okay, got it. Nitrous. I know nitrous really well. I breathe nitrous. I go to the dentist and do nitrous. I love whippets. I freaking know. That little cartridge of nitrous is only a balloon this big, the size of your fist. That's all the pressure of nitrous they put in that little tiny capsule. A CO2, they put this much because it's not explosive. So they put a giant one in there. But for a nitrous, that little thing, that's not going to be enough to do anything on a motor. With a motor, nitrous, you're going to need a ton of push behind it to get it into the cylinder. You're going to need 10, 20 pounds. And you're never going to get 10, 20 pounds out of that little tiny bottle. Ever. Never, never. It's going to be a waste of money. Trust me. Take that little nitrous cartridge, stick it in your Whippet cartridge, fill up a balloon, breathe it, bam. But yeah, no, the nitrous cartridges that's one step above boost bottle. Once you get ripped for the boost bottle, your next step is to get ripped at the nitrous bottle. It's for people that don't want to learn how the engine works to go faster. They just want to fix, man. Just give me a pipe. Give me this part. Give me a carburetor. Give me that. Stop. Figure out where the piston is, what's going on, and you will make more power than anything, more than a reed, more than anything. If you learn how you can stop this air from passing through the top, at bottom, that's pretty good. That's Ken's though. He's been doing it for, forever. Okay, right here. If you can see that, that's how much is trimmed off of it. Make sure that it goes off. That's called skirting the piston. You skirt a piston is really easy. You take the thing up to the top dead center, and then you put a mark on the piston through the intake of how much you have to pull off to make the intake open completely. But if you have to do that, that means that piston's not working correctly or the wrong piston for the cylinder. But you can always correct it, even if it is. But it's better when you take a piston, you drop it in the cylinder, it shows you your freaking squish level right there, and the piston matches the cylinder perfect. That's what you want. Does the bike overheat? Which one? No. I like to run methanol on the 400s. I like to tablespoon of methanol in the highest octane I can find. Usually 91 is the highest, and I usually dope it up with a tablespoon of methanol to increase more octane, cooler cylinder. Lots of people worry that these are going to overheat, right? People are like, oh, it doesn't have a head, it's going to overheat. None if you don't make it so damn rich or lean. If your cylinder's getting hot, I guarantee you're lean. Like freaking lean. I know it. I've done it for years. Lean. This is all the way in. If your idle screw is all the way in, you're lean. Lean, lean, lean. Because you're lifting that up to make it even run. It's so lean that it won't even run or idle because you're so lean. Hey, Will. Hey, Dread. How was work? Did you make it? I just did a problem with the headset. So I did a show on how to change your headset on a gas tank frame. So when all you guys get a gas tank frame, you'll know not to take the crappy free headset they give you with your force. Junk. And I was showing him the 300 Ramjet. That's what you missed. I was doing that's a Ramjet 400, TS 400, 49 millimeter piston. I did a 16th inch spacer. These are spacers. I had them laser cut. These are 3/16. These are 1/8. I take these down to a 16th on the PK80 Runwell. All the PK80s take a 16th. All the Zetas, all the higher ones take a 3/16. And I do have these. I guess I can ship them around the world to you guys if you need them. This is your first step, is to learn how to use a spacer. Learn how to use a spacer first on a 400. I'll show you how it works. Okay, this is an early 400. This is when I actually thought you could make more power by making a bigger intake. But this is a 400. And if you notice, it has intakes. Or I mean, I call these step down transfer blocks. And on a, I got here. Okay, here we go. This one I had a 540 built, and I put a, this is a Husqvarna one ring 50 millimeter 12 millimeter pin thing. I had a jack in the crack, or a jack in the box. See how it lifted the two studs right there? There, I caught it before it actually jack in the boxed. But this is called a transfer block for the MS440, 660, all the models that have a round, not open transfer. Here's without. This is how it comes, right? Comes just like this. And that's a 50. That won't fit. But this is the 3800. The 38 Magnum takes this. The 440 takes this. The 460 takes this. The 660. What you do is, that's the little fill-in you have to fill in your transfer, because these all have round cylinders. And I make these with JB Weld putty, the steel putty, and I put them in there. But let me get one that doesn't have it. Here you go. This plate goes on like that, and it blocks the transfers down to a China doll case. Later on, I developed transfer blocks into the cylinder and cutting my squish deeper so I can use a smaller spacer. Why do I want to use a smaller spacer? I want to use a smaller spacer to increase my stroke any way I can, which is cutting that. How deep can I go? Well, when the chrome stops, that's called the ring of death, and you never want to pass the ring of death. How do I find the ring of death? You measure the height of the piston ring right there to the height of that, plus your squish that you're going to create. That's how deep you can go. If you go past the ring with cutting it, and it hits a part of the cylinder that isn't coated, you'll hit what's called the ring of death. And you don't want to. Yeah, this one's a squish cut. I think if anyone wants to learn how to build an engine, they should tear down a stock and learn to assemble it back together. Exactly. But you want to split a case, and you want to look at it. Like we're splitting this case. I'm still working this one off. But while you're working on this, let's say I'm like, oh, I can't get this off. There's nothing I can do. You can always split it a little bit and pop the case up a little bit off. Try and pop it off. You can also go deeper with with one of the pullers and do it that way. But yes, a good thing that will teach you more than any book is to split the engine. Look at the clutch. This is your clutch, guys. This is how this works. And what this is going to do is the ball and the bucking arm is going to push on this, push this plate out, your pressure plate. That's all it does. It does. There's nothing else in your engine but this and this. There's nothing else. That's your 2 parts and 4 bearings. That's it. This one is a ZL40 out of an old one, and there's my stroke right there, 39.5. And that, sir, is a steel sleeve with the oiler's drill. Why would I want to sleeve a 14 millimeter down to 12? Well, they have these pins right here, gudgeons, and they have special gudgeons from 12 to 10. So theoretically, if you sleeved your rod down to 12, you could use a 10 on whatever you wanted, and then that's a China doll. But yes, I agree with you, Dread. You definitely want to freaking try and take your engine apart and look at it. But I say, before you take it apart, just look at it going up and down. Look at the piston. Is the intake opening all the way up? Is the exhaust opening all the way up? How far past the sweep is the piston going down? And then you want to measure your squishy. The squishy is the space in between your piston at top dead center and the head. And that's your squishy. Get it yet. What did I say it was? 22? 22? Is that what I said? Did I say 22? Yeah, I said 22. Ding, 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 ding. I'll hold the other side. It's fine. I hold the other side. Oh, well. 1/4. Dope. Nickel. 1/4. Nickel. Oh, well, I'm just putting a nickel and 1/4 into the magnet, or into the magnet over the magneto. I just want to get it tight. Then I want to back it up a little bit, or I want to actually break that first. I just want to break the seal a little bit, because it was really stubborn. What am I working on? I was doing a headset. You want to see the headset done? Let's get those 400 ramjet out of the way. New headset. Bam. Right there. Enclosed bearing. No more jiggity, jiggity, jiggity when I stop. No more. A lot of these forks on a gas tank frame, you have to stop on them and they go jiggity, jiggity, jiggity like that. So that's what I did. Hey, thank you. But yeah, that's what I did. The pipe guy was having problems with these. He bought a frame just like me so he could build this pipe. Take a look at this pipe, man. This pipe makes this bike go at least 10 miles an hour faster. And he still hasn't got the header right. Once he gets a bigger header on this thing, I'll bet you it will go 20 miles an hour faster. Once he increases the head size right here, let me spin it around so you guys can look at it. Great pipe, by the way, I love it. But if I can get this header bigger, a hold more,
a bigger header that holds more. Right there. I'm losing a lot of heat right here because the gas is hitting that corner and then bouncing. It would be better to have a bigger spot right here. Where really long stinger. There's the stinger side. What I'm referring to, this is the stinger right there. Whole size to the stinger is this size right there. Middle finger, it's that size. I don't know what that means in America. But yeah. And this right here is the clutch that Ryan builds, or the pressure plate over the China Doll, because these monsters are monsters on clutches. 10,000 RPM. That's what I did though, guys. I did that. And now I'm just pulling this gear that's giving me hell. So I'm going to give it hell back. Once I'm like, I'm just giving you hell back. Because I'm going to pull it. Got to get Dan's engine going. Does the pipe get hot? Actually, I've never burned myself on the pipe, and it's really nice, dude. That pipe is great. I wish it just had a better header, but other than that, I wouldn't ask for anything else, man. And I like the smaller. I like the smaller. There we go. Now I got to try and get that off though, because I had to tighten it up so much. But I really like the pipe. Everybody else in America, it's Steve. Steve's the pipe maker, but I mean, Cody's willing to work with me. He's young, bright, he's getting it, and he's just like me, man. He loves these things. Freaking loves them. Me, I can't get enough of them. I just pulled this out. This is my crank sprocket. That's what I usually call it because it's coming off of the crank. Which one do you want to look at, Will? Can we get a beautiful pipe? Can't decide on a CR80. CR85, man. CR85. How big of a cylinder are you going? I got 125 for the big shit. I got to send this out to Cody. Hopefully tomorrow. I'm so procrastinating. I'm the worst procrastinator in the freaking world, dude. Unless it's got to do with bikes. But this is a 125 pipe for 56 millimeter or larger. I'm going to try and run it on the 52 and the 56 millimeter, but he said he'd blow the pipe out for me and fix it and all that. But I picked that up for 20 bucks. And, you know, if you see the word FMF for anything smaller than 125 cc's, grab it. Just grab it and be like, run with it, man. It's mine. Be like that. Okay, let's remove the Woodruff key. I like to remove them with hooks and hemostats and a screwdriver. We'll start with the screwdriver. And okay, see how they installed that? That's going to bust a Woodruff key. When you install a Woodruff key and you install it like that, instead of perfectly straight, it's going to shred, especially on these monsters. It's going to shred like you wouldn't believe. I ate one up the other day. It turned into, on Ken's bike, I ate a Woodruff key. I mean, I was freaking seeing what it do and stuff, and it just fucking, what it do? It ate the Woodruff key. Ate it. Yeah, see how it's all at an angle? You never want that. You never want the Woodruff key where it's out. Like a lot of people's like, oh, it's easier to install. No, if that Woodruff key is not flat, it's going to shear, dude. Every time. The blue one. Dreadnought. It's a beautiful pipe. Can't
decide to go with CR8, you can't go wrong with CR. If it's got FMF CR, it's good pipe, dude. I usually go for the words FMF is my hot topic. I'm always like, oh, fuck yeah. Because in the 70s and 80s in America, that's what made all the pipes disappear. I just lost the Woodruff key. Patang! Right across. But this case is ready to split. Right now, Woodruff key's off. Just do the magnet, and it's ready to split. We're going to split 13 millimeter. Wow. I've been noticing that on the PK80s. We're doing the 13 millimeters now on the magneto side. I shot that Woodruff key. I just saw it went right off the desk. 15. Yeah, I'll let you guys see what I'm doing here. Got a wrench on the magnet side. Stack some quarters and nickels right there. And other side of me. Take the bolt off. These will strip so easy. Don't start your bike with it. Don't turn your crank with it, or you will strip it. It's 10 millimeter, or it's 1.0 millimeter pitch on that, and it will so screw. I'll show you how to pull a magnet now. Can I run on 108cc? That's what I'm building for Cody. I'm building him a 660, 56 millimeter, 44 millimeter stroke. Thank you. But yeah, after this one, I'm going to do the 660. After I finish Dan's, I'm going to do the 660. It's just the CNC case he wants. He wants that CNC so bad. He wants a billet case. I'd already be done with it with a regular case. But everybody wants the billet. We all do. Pretty standard shit. I want the newest, greatest thing. Okay. I want the thing that's reliable and fast. Oh, sure, you can call in live. That'd be cool. So tell me how to figure that out, and we can do it. That'd be awesome, dude. I Skype, but that's different. Get like one Skype going and I hate those things. Stupid shit, man. Okay, here comes the magneto. Magneto away. I just love putting this stupid shit on there. Watertight. Blah, blah, blah. I like to make it really fucking hard. I hate these stupid things. Tight. Crap. I hate those things. I replace a lot of the wires because of that, because I hate them. Hate you. Okay, this is what you want to check on your magneto. Get out your voltage meter, turn it on before you use any magneto. Grab your meter. I'll tell you what you're doing. I want to go live. That's what I need. 1,000 subscribers to go live, and I want to chase scooters down and kick their asses. There you go. I can tell you how good the magneto is right there from that rating. The higher resistance, the more coils, the better the magneto. But 33, I like 0.33. I like 0.34 or higher. I've had one where they messed up and missed the coil count, and I had one as high as 0.9 before. I mean, that was the best coil I've ever tested. But yes, you want to do that with every one before you start the engine. Yeah, it'd be cool to figure out how to do that, Colin. Okay, let's pull the magnet. What do I always do to pull the magnet? First step. What's the first step? Grease that baby. And let this grease sit there. Do I use the Chinese CDI? Yeah, I mean, Doug's working on a new CDI. I've done the Osmag, and do I see advances? No. Is it more reliable? Yes, but a two-stroke only needs so much to fire the piston. All it needs is enough stroke on it to fire the piston and get it off that way, you know? Okay, this one. That's so freaking close. Don't make me negotiate. I should put something down so it doesn't break it. But this is how I pull the magnet. Everybody else, I have like blah, 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 blah. I also like to take another magnet and put it on backwards. And that will release some of it too. Just like that. That's how I pull a magnet. And I guarantee you, a California Motors is hardest magnet in the whole area to pull, dude. That, like, so freaking hard. The first California Motors I pulled, I pinched the magnet so hard, and it was such a bee. It was so hard. That's as far as I can pull with the battery clamp puller. But there you go. That's how I pull the magnets. Just like that. That gets me 3/4 of the way off, the easy way. And then I have another puller somewhere else that finishes it, that is small enough to go inside there. With these, you do not want to mess the threads up. The threads are so easy to screw up, dude, on the magnet side. I mean, hardly anything will freaking fuck them up. So when you do the magnet, you do not want to, or your threads will be toast. These threads will be so toast. Like the Woodruff key I lost. There's your magnet. How do I know how to install the magnet? What's the front? What's the back? 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock is how I know where the front is. What do you mean by 1 o'clock, Brad? I mean, you set that magnet down. And the magnet's hit. You set that magnet down on the ground, and the Woodruff key's set at 1 o'clock. That's the front. Flip it over, 11 o'clock. That's backwards. This is the back side. This is the front side. I used to mark them. I used to paint them. I used to do everything to make sure I did it right. And then 1 o'clock. Just remember 1 o'clock. Put the magnet down, 1 o'clock. Put the, you want to put this all the way up, top dead center. Raise the piston as high as you go. That's 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock. Let's see if I can not lose the Woodruff key. This one is the thick one. This is the 3 millimeter. You want to make a note of it that the thicker Woodruff key goes onto
magneticide. Yeah, I hate builders that keep secrets. I was in a motorized bicycle club. I won't say what, and I was kicked out for teaching people how to make cylinders or even try to. There was one person in the whole country who sold them. He would charge $600. He would buy this cylinder for $16 and charge $600 to put it on here. I was like, that's fucking crazy. Somebody bet me I couldn't do it. $1. I still haven't seen my dollar. Told him I'd start off every show with the dollar. I asked him to sign it and he refused. He says he's still going to send it to me. We'll see. Okay, let's check how true our crank is now. What I'm looking for, and the faster I can turn it, I'm looking for that thing to be as straight as possible. When you turn something, that's a nice crank, dude. That is a very nice crank. Let's remove the seals now. These are your oil seals. Right here, you definitely don't want to poke them. Why don't you want to poke them? Because they're oil seals there to make the oil not leak. And it's supposed to seal the crank spinning at 10,000 RPM. From, you know, there's going to be a lot of pressure at 10,000 RPM. So we do not want to do that. I'm just slowly working it up, trying to pull. Let's just break the case first. I normally like to pull these off because I don't like to lose the spring. Like the Woodruff key that went flying, there's a little spring on your oil seals that you lose and then it's worthless. Inside here, there's a little spring. See it? That's known to lose. You ever pull one of these off and the spring's not there? That's the reason why you're leaking oil. If this compartment has any kind of grease in it, that's what's going on. Over here on the same side. If grease is coming out right here, or you'll know it because it'll be black. It'll be not the regular stuff. I'm just popping the oil seals off. This is the thick side. This is the thin side. It's very important to remember that. Wow. Just got a text. Huh. Right. Just telling somebody I'm doing my YouTube show. How much do you charging on the 108 cc's? Great question. How much am I charging to do this? I'm charging at least a couple pipes. He's already sent me one pipe. I want more pipes. And me and Cody are getting pretty tight. It's pretty antsy first thing, but there you go. Zoom out. This is the engine. Everybody's, Brad, get this done, Brad. Do it, show everybody can do it. Okay. This is the issues I have with this. Is the thing there, right? The little clip that holds it on. This is your box read. I'm not a big fan of box reads, but I'm going to do it. But I'll probably just send him the box read with it and do a straight cylinder. I've got another case right here. There's another billet case. This is how they come. I put the hole in them. This is all perfectly smooth. The case is so much nicer than a China doll. When I first got it, I was like, man, I'll never do a China doll ever again, you know. And then It's disappointed with the clutch right there, but man, this right here weighs 3, 4, 5 times as much as the China Doll. The design for the reed box, I don't like how it blasts the wall. I would particularly like it to be more into the case, keep all the bearings greased and all that. With that, I think it's gonna be hard to control with it just blasting the wall. I want it to flow. I want to control how it goes through the cylinder. And with it blasting on the wall, I really can't adjust the flow. It's gonna go wherever the hell it wants to with a box reed like that. I mean, when the fuel passes through there, your control is over as soon as it goes through the reed and the reed closes. When the reed closes, you have zero control on the flow. When that reed closes, the flow is going to actually stop and do weird things when that reed closes. That's what I was telling people, the good, the bad, and the ugly about a reed. The good is less crosstalk. The bad is it's going to reduce your flow. And that's the good, the bad. The ugly is not knowing how to work a reed. And you're changing the whole dynamics of your engine, and you're going to have to relearn how to do the engine completely again. I did a few Oz reed mags when I first started China Dolls. And oh, well, how much are the new cases? He sent those to me as blems, and he sent them to me dirt cheap. And me and Ryan are cool. I don't know how many more he would sell to me that cheap for $69. But Ryan's a good guy. I mean, there's very few people out there that actually helped me, and Ryan's one of the good guys out there that he looks at me and he does the same thing. He's trying to change the China Doll into a good working motor. It bugs him too that this engine has so much more potential than what it's built for. I mean, it's built to go 20 miles an hour, and I mean, who the hell wants to go 20 miles an hour? Even if you're like, oh, I'm Mr. Safe, you still don't want to have to pedal up the hill. I don't. And he wants to make it, he wants to eventually build the whole engine in America. And, well, he's building those water-cooled, and boy, I really think everybody's going to get sucked into that, and boy, they're never going to finish their engines, ever. But to answer that question, Will, he charged me $60 a case for them. And I think on his website, they're like 300 and something bucks. But those are the cases that are drilled and completed. Those are blems that on the line that he didn't like how they came out or something. I don't know what it was that he didn't finish the case or why. I guess I'll figure it out when I build the engine. But Ryan's a good guy. So's Doug. I like Doug too. Doug sent me, I've got 2 clutches, and he sent me 2 materials, and he doesn't even charge me. I mean, I send out a lot of money on parts. I spend lots. I mean, ridiculous how much money I spend sometimes. But it's my hobby. I love it. We're about ready to split the case. Getting close. What you don't want to do is break your gasket. It really sucks when you break your gasket and you don't have any spares. Always know that these 2 with the black washers are the top. And they're nice bolts. They're all hex or cap screws, which I like cap screws. the black screw, or put the black washer on it to keep it separate from the other screws. Oh, did you see me twist it? I didn't want to do that. That's how I break the seals. And it really sucks when you break the seal. Oh, like, ah! It's not that a seal costs a lot, because the seal's pretty cheap. A seal is $4 or $5, something like that, $3 or $4. But it's the weight. It's the freaking weight. Okay, I don't really like to pound on this side because, you know, mess up your threads really easy. Put it on a copper. Down this one. Some copper. Pop it off with some copper. All right, welcome new subscriber. Scribing. Put it on like that, I guess. Tap it, tap it, tap it. My secret, tap it, tap it, tap it. Let me grab a seat. Okay, I broke an hour, so better hurry up and break this case and call it a show. Bam! That's your case broke. This is the inside. This is, see how there's nothing? This is important. That's how it works. This is what you want to check. This bearing, you want to make sure that it's not a Z bearing with the metal on either side, and they pulled off on both sides. You want, if it's a rubber, you can keep the rubber on the outside. But if it's a steel Zerk, you want to pull them out on both sides. Ooh, I came close to breaking that seal. I hate it when I break those. I was begging him, please send me an extra one. I don't have any bread. Please. I'm always begging for those. I'm always begging for seals. Yeah, that's me. Mr. Begging. Please, sir. Oh, that's my 16th. That's a gasket. I got old gaskets here somewhere. Fine. It wants to be a dummy. It wants to be a dummy. Go for the wood. I like it when I pinch myself like that. That hurts. Good one, Brad. Ouch. We'll call it a show. After pinching myself and giving me a blood blister, let's call it a show. Hey, thanks for tuning in, Dread and Will. I gotta go get a Band-Aid. Please subscribe. Thanks for everybody subscribing. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you, Dreadnought and Will, on the next show, man, hopefully. Talk to you guys later.